Today on Copper to Drop It, we got a 2021 Jeep Wrangler. Now, when this Jeep came to the shop, or when I first saw this Jeep, we actually had to park it upstairs in the dealership because it came in with no doors. So I had to take it for a ride, and honestly, it felt good. It felt real good to drive this thing without no doors, man. Felt like the Dukes Hazzard. But no, I mean, it was, I kind of get it why people have the enjoyment of driving these vehicles without doors. You know, it brings out that inner wildness in you. You know what I'm saying? But this Jeep, like I said here on Twon Used Car Dawn, all our vehicles are traded in, and this Jeep was traded in, and it only had like 11,000 miles on it, barely drove. But the downside of it is when the person traded this Jeep in, it didn't have the back or side plastic little windows, and it didn't have anything. It didn't even have a spare tire. So in order to even make it a safety check, all vehicles supposed to have a spare tire, but this one didn't have a spare tire, and it didn't have the surrounding glass, so we couldn't even. It had to stay outside, inside, so we couldn't even put this vehicle actually on the lot. So we're going to trying to sell it as is, but it's in fantastic shape. And here you can tell, like, the customer really cared about this vehicle. They put this little aftermarket touchscreen in it, and that looks like it's about 10 or 11 inch touchscreen, and it worked really good. It worked just as well as the factory, and honestly, I have a factory sitting next to this one, and I actually had to mirror off of it the things that this was missing because I'm not a Jeep guy and I didn't know what all was actually not here on this vehicle, but you can see it here. So this is actually copy drop it, and I'm going to install this door. I had to actually prop it because I do have a camera stand, but I don't bring my camera every day. So I do bring my phone every day, and you never know when content's going to come. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this door here, and I'm just going to just shoot it. You know, if you don't, forgive me for the angles. I know they're not right, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm a mechanic, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a photographer, so you're gonna get what you're gonna get. So I'm actually trying to find the right screws for the door, and once I got the right screws for the door, I'm gonna take this my little ratchet wrench and take off the handles. See, it came with this little aftermarket side mirror and its little foot pedal, because when you're driving down the street, you want to be able to hang that foot outside for some reason because it feels good. It feels real good. So we hang that like that, and then we're going to come back and hang the door up. Actually, after I hang this door, I didn't have the pins to put in the door to tighten up the hinges, because it actually came with the pins, and it just took me a while to find them. But this time I didn't find them, so and it's funny because Jeep actually comes with tools and a place to slide the pin bolts, because they expect people to take their car apart. Isn't that something? And they make it real simple. So here you go. Here's the little sliding screws. They have like sleeves on them, and I think they're like 25 torque bits. That was the size of it. And like I said, it actually comes with the tools to do this job itself, because people that have Jeeps should always be able to take the freaking doors off and go for a ride. And it's a rough ride. You know, it's kind of, I don't know how anybody can really get used to riding without the doors. I actually saw someone on the interstate ride like that. You know what I'm saying? One of those good old boys. But here we go. And we're just going to tighten it until it gets snug tight, like so. And boom. I think this gun probably has like maybe 45 or 50 torque pounds on it. And here's the door latch right here. And you just pop this little plastic trim off, and then you're going to see where you're going to plug the harness at and the door catch. And here's the door catch right here. I think this was like a 15, 45 torque bit, maybe a 20. I don't know. I do know, but I just don't know at the time that I'm making this video. So we're going to take that torque bit out, and we're just going to attach the door catch to it right there. And really, Jeep made putting the door on and installing it for dummies. A lot of other vehicles have the harness that you got to go through the door jamb in order to connect it, and it makes it real complicated. But Jeep made putting doors on for dummies, and they did a good job to do it. I mean, I feel like anyone can actually install these doors if they got a little bit of knowledge of a vehicle or any kind of mechanical knowledge that they can install these doors. And here you're gonna hang this right there, and you're gonna come in, hook the harness up. And the harness is kind of tricky because actually you just pull down the top of the harness and it kind of like just closes it. So it acts as a lever and a lock, and you just lock it like so, and you come around and you slide that plastic piece back in like so. It's 2 grooves in the back, 2 grooves in the top, and bada boom, bada boom. And for some reason I just looked up the glove compartment. And after you do that, you want to make sure that that door is functional and it closes and it works fine. And also you go around and you actually turn the radio on and make sure that it doesn't say that the door is open. That's how you know that you installed it correctly. And there it is. So for this Jeep, should we cop it or drop it? I mean, honestly, I'm going to cop it because Jeeps are pretty good. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to Twon the Used Car Don.